To Automation Toolbar. My name is Charlene Tran, and today I'll talk to you about why you should learn automation scripting. I'll talk about the value and the need for automation, and in particular focus on web application testing. I'll show you two cool Selenium tools you can use to help create your automation scripts. The best part is this is free. What is automation testing? Automation testing is done by a machine, not you, so it allows you to do other work. It allows you to test features over and over again after you create the scripts. And here are some benefits. It's more thorough than regular manual testing because when you're creating these automation scripts, you have time to go through the details of each of the fields and the features, and you can automate anything you want within the page. And every time you run these test scripts, they will be conducted in the same order, the same format that you have written the scripts in. It saves a lot of time. In my experience, there was one application that had multiple forms, and generally it takes one person a whole day to do regression testing on it. And it's not necessarily very thorough regression testing because it's pretty impossible to go through all the fields because given this is a form, there's a lot of fields. And sometimes you don't test for the error validation for each of the fields because you can't. With automation, you can. So when I wrote the automation script for this application, we saved so much time. Instead of spending one whole day on regression testing the application in a time crunch, because this is on production, you can do it within 12 to 15 minutes. That's a huge reduction. Let's talk about why you should do it. Now that we know what automation testing is, there's a rising demand for this. Thus, a huge job security if you know how to do automation scripting. And companies always try to be more cost effective and efficient. You're always doing more with less resources. And given today, there's technology to support that, so they would definitely want this. It's challenging and it's fun. I mean, if you're writing test cases, it gets pretty boring. And if you're testing the same features for regression testing over and over again, it's very boring. But with automation scripting, it's fun because, sometimes things break and then you use that noodle to figure out why it's not working and fix it. Sometimes, it could be discouraging because you can't figure something out, but there's a huge online community for Selenium, so you will always find an answer. Or you can find another way to work around it. It is challenging, but not impossible. I mean, you could say, oh, this takes me so much time and so much effort to learn this application. If you're not learning this application, someone else will. And you have to keep in mind, kids in school are learning programming at an early age. You don't want to be out of a job in the next 10 years. And let's talk about, there's this idea that testers shouldn't be programmers. That makes no sense to me because you can still, just because you start to know certain, you start to be more technical in knowing what is on a web page or how it works does not make you a bad tester or make you develop. It just does not make any sense to me. And it's just also like telling a farmer that he shouldn't use a tractor or any tools to do his work because he should do it with his hands. See, it makes no sense. And speaking, from my experience, I majored in economics. I became a tester, and then now I'm a business analyst that also does some testing. I mean, once you know this, once you have the skill, it doesn't escape you. You will always use it on upcoming projects, or you can, always be teaching people, training new people on it. It's a very valuable skill. You will always use this later in the future, or in some way, shape, or form, it'll help you in another area. I mean, once I learned programming, it really did help me understand more of what the developers were saying and the constraints, and if there is really a constraint, because now you're understanding it more, you can actually question certain decisions. Now let's talk about the Selenium IDE, which you can set up today. This is what it looks like. This IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. It allows you to record actions on a Firefox browser, and this one simple tool, it allows you to record it and then play back on this one plugin. And this is a Firefox plugin. You can download it, restart your Firefox, and start making automation scripts. There is a slight learning curve, but I'm pretty sure you can get through it. I'll create some Selenium IDE tutorials. You can create a whole test suite using this tool, and I have done so in the past. You can create test cases all right here, going all the way down, and then you save that as a test suite, and then just play it again when you need to. And if it fails, it turns red. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with this. And it doesn't require any intense programming. You just need to know, what element you're interacting with on the page and what it needs to do. But there are some limitations if you want to use logic or if your application requires logic, or if you want to test on multiple browsers. So let's go to the next more advanced tool. That's Selenium WebDriver. This tool allows you to test with logic. So for example, if you're working with an application that requires security, it requires you to answer security questions, and those are generated within the application, and you can't really predict which question is going to ask you, so you need logic to say, if it's this question, answer with this answer. If it's that question, answer with this response. So you can do that with the WebDriver because you're actually using a programming language. And there's multiple you can choose from. For my tutorials, I will be showing you how to do it with Java. So Selenium WebDriver allows you to run your test cases on multiple browsers, and you can also generate test reports with TestNG. You can also create screenshot on errors, when your automation script is running and then it just failed on one of the steps or something. You can create a line to make it take a screenshot of what's happening on the browser at that time of error. And Selenium WebDriver also allows you to handle different windows more effectively than the IDE can. The IDE can handle multiple browser windows, but it is not very effective at doing so. And another cool thing is you can interact with your operating system windows, so you can save PDFs and so any questions or comments, please post them below, and look out for my future videos on how to create automation script using Selenium IDE and Selenium WebDriver with Java. Thank you. Bye.